What's going on, guys? So today we are going to be fishing the Nikko Hellgrammite, which is probably my absolute favorite soft plastic for largemouths and peacock bass. I got a new pack, but I also had a couple of these left over, so I already have one tied on. This is the Galaxy color, I believe, so it's a nice black with some really nice bright blue flake. It's a super stretchy, super durable lure. I've never had to replace one of these because they just got like torn up like most soft plastics do. I always end up snagging these things before I end up having to replace them. So I also tried out a different jig head, different hook style. Normally I use like a traditional jig head where the hook is exposed. Today I'm going to try this kind of weedless presentation. I'm going to hope that this gets me snagged a lot less because the lake that we're going to be fishing, very grassy, pretty rocky, a lot of drop-offs, so I usually end up snagging a good amount, but hopefully this does the trick today, and hopefully there are some nice peacocks and largemouths that want a little hellgrammite for dinner. So we got about an hour and a half before sunset. It's raining a little bit now, even though the sun's out, and it rained a little bit this afternoon, so I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to give it a shot. Alrighty, so here's a little bit better look at the lure we are going to be going with. An absolute not panfish, peacock and largemouth killer. So I'm going to cast this thing out. I'm going to let it drop a little bit more than I normally do, but it is still a very grassy lake. And then what I'd like to do is just kind of swim this thing with a pretty slow but moderate retrieve, and then I twitch the rod tip a little bit, just giving it a little bit more action. So now let's hope there are some fish out there. I want to go after this little hellgrammite. Oh, there we go, fish on. What do we got? Keep him down, little largy. Let's get this guy on up here. Alright, I would say this is slightly bigger than a lot of the really small dinks that I get out on this lake. Certainly not huge, but a nice little fish to start us out here. So let me drop that guy back. Oh, and he disappeared right away. Alright, let's get back at it. Alrighty, so let me fix this little lure. So far I've got to say this presentation I think is working a little bit better than what I normally use, like the traditional exposed hook. I have not been hung up yet at all, which is great. I was a little worried about the hook set, but so far on our first bite I had no issues at all. And we got our first fish here within about 5 minutes. So we'll do the same thing, let it sink. It's pretty deep out there right off of the drop off. And work it back nice and slow. Let's hope there's another fish that wants to go after this little hellgrammite. Go, fish on. Not a big one. Let's see what it is. Little largy. Oop. Come on up here. Alright, second fish on the bank. Now this is a little dink of a largemouth. This is about the size that I usually get these guys, but still, nice little fish. Back in there, and let's keep going. Alright, let's fix this thing once again. Like I said, this lure is still in amazing shape. Only caught 2 fish on it so far, but I had maybe 2 or 3 more bites. And looks brand new. So let's keep fishing. Let's work in this thing slowly. We're picking away at a couple here. Try to get 1 or 2 more here before the sun sets. Oh, fish on. Little largie. I sped my retrieve up, which was interesting. I don't normally do that, but it worked. Alrighty, another little dink of a largemouth. I sped my retrieve up, like I mentioned. I noticed when I sped mine up, a little peacock came up to check it out. Peacocks, usually they're a little bit more aggressive. They'll go after faster moving lures. So I sped my retrieve up there, and that guy hit it. All right, let me briefly talk about the rod. I guess I could talk about the line and the reel too. So today I have this on a 6-foot 10-inch medium light extra fast from Legend Extreme from St. Croix. I think that is absolutely perfect for this kind of fishing. This is more of a finesse presentation. It's a small lure. I use it on small light jig heads. Today I have a 1/8 ounce on there, but I have fished this on a 1/16 before, and I think a medium light rod with some 6-pound test is perfect. Small reel too. This is only a 2500 Daiwa Legalis. Anything heavier, like I have fished this on a like a medium fast St. Croix Victory or St. Croix Mojo bass, and you can't cast this far. You got to use some, well, at least I use some heavier line. Got 10-pound mono on those setups. You can't cast as far. You can't work it as effectively. You can't feel the hits as well. So really a lighter rod, like a medium light 6-pound test. I think that is kind of the perfect range for this lure. Alright, so I tied on a different hellgrammite. This is the fusion color. Mainly because I broke off the Galaxy, and that was my last Galaxy. So we'll flip this thing around. I don't know, I got maybe 20 minutes left before sunset. I would love one more fish, especially a peacock. A peacock would really make my day. I think I'm going to fish this a little bit faster, just because like I mentioned earlier, I noticed when I fish it faster, I get a couple follows from some peacocks. That largemouth hit earlier on a faster retrieve. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, there's a peacock right there that followed it in. Yeah, so let's see if we could fish this faster and get a peacock to bite. There we go, fish on. It's still a largemouth and a little one at that, but we'll take it. Another little dink of a largemouth, not the peacock we're going after, but we'll drop this guy back. Hopefully we can still get one more here before the sun sets. Fish on. Oh, it's a peacock. First one of these guys for the day, if we can get him in. Not huge, still a nice fish. Oh, and he's off. That is really disappointing. Would have been my first peacock, but we missed him. The sun's about to set, so I think that might do it. There we go. Little guy. Let's flip him on up here. That's gonna do it. One largemouth to finish off the day. Alright, so had to get a little bit of redemption after I lost that peacock. This largemouth is tiny, might be one of the smaller ones of the day, but it'll do it. So now we'll drop this guy back, and now that is officially the end. Alright, so that is going to do it. Glad I was able to get a little bit of redemption here with that last largemouth, but overall the Nikko Hellgrammite, both in this fusion color and then in the galaxy that we started with, absolute killer of largemouths and peacocks. So we got 5 largemouths on the bank, I think. Also lost 1 largemouth, lost that 1 peacock, which is a real disappointment. Had a couple more hits that I missed out on, but can't not complain at all. In an hour and a half, we had a very nice amount of action. Only lost 1 of these. I really do like this hook. I think I'm going to use this more often instead of that kind of traditional one where the hook sticks out. I only got snagged once using this, and my hookup ratio was about the same as it is normally. But again, love every single Nikko product I've ever tried. The Hellgrammite is probably going to be my absolute favorite. Fishing it slow on the bottom produced a couple fish, and then kind of swimming this thing back to me, kind of suspended in the middle of the water column, got a couple more bites, and the peacocks like that a lot more. I had a bunch of follows from the peacocks when it was being brought in a little bit faster and off of the bottom, and we were able to hook up with one, but unfortunately we lost it. I think I probably should have played with that fish a little more, let it run a little bit more instead of trying to muscle it in, but hindsight is always 20/20, but I'm not going to complain. 5 largemouths in an hour and a half is pretty good in my book. So the Nikko Hellgrammite came through again. No complaints with this lure at all. Love fishing it. Hope you guys liked it, and I will see you next time.